Hi guys, I'm Kathy and this is what's up today. So I've had multiple people request information on how I flipped the windows so I could open them from the outside here. Now it's really super nice to be able to just flip those open, especially with the heat we're having all over the country these days without having to get into this coop. So there, I will give you a little info here. Here is what I used for tools. You can see nothing really fancy. I have an X-Acto knife, a hammer, crowbar. Actually, this is a very stiff scraper. This is a staple puller or nail puller. You can see one of the tines have broken, but that's okay. I just have a needle nose in case it helps, and then this piece of wood is to show you what I did for the framing on the inside. So anyway, the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to remove these frames by taking your X-Acto knife, and along all of these edges there could be some silicone or putty in there. Or paint. You're going to want to score that, being very careful that you don't cut the paint. And then what I would do after I did that is I would try to shift my putty knife under there to make sure that it was all loose, just under the edges anyway. And if you couldn't do that, you could actually start by, taking your crowbar, just getting it started by hammering it just a little bit in at a time. Always start at the top edge. I would actually start with this one here and get that loose and go all the way along that edge a little at a time so you don't crack or break this board. And then just keep going around little bits at a time. Doesn't have to be a fast job, and that'll ensure that you don't accidentally snap or crack these face boards. You can see I actually reused the nails that came with them. There's just those little, they're probably about 3-inch nails that are in there, and they actually are ribbed nails, so they're a little bit hard to pull. So once you get it out, you might need to take a piece of wood and set it behind her. It wouldn't be this thick, but you'd set it behind and then set your crowbar on that to kind of wedge it off, get on the nail there, and then use that wood as a lever to pull that nail up and out so you're not yanking too hard on stuff. So that's what I do first, is I just get the frame removed, and that's the biggest part there. Once you get the frame removed, you're going to find out that there's a bunch of little nails. Well, the girls are doing their little egg ready song there. Sorry about that. But you're going to see there's going to be a bunch of nails on this side of this frame that are pounded in, that hold the window right onto this wood structure here before it gets framed out. Okay, so that's kind of the basic there. And then what I did on the outside, or actually on the inside that faces the outside, is I took, when they shipped this to me, it was actually, there was a pallet around it, or a frame built around it, but that had somehow dropped in shipment and was totally broken up. But there were pieces of this, I guess it'd be a 2x3, and that's actually the same material the perches or the roosts are made out of. So I just took the extra pieces that were busted off from the packaging, and then I cut them to the length that I would need for framing this on the inside. So this piece here is a piece of that 2x3, and then I had a longer piece of that 2x3 that went up here that I cut, and it's also underneath here, and then runs down this side here. So that's just the scrap board that came with the packaging, in a sense, that I cut up to frame that in with. So again, the windows are out. I framed in with this 2x3 scrap wood. And I'm going to go inside to kind of show you that a little bit. You might be able to see it better. Hi, girls. Yeah, hi. Okay, so as you can see, whoop, we got eggs. This is the original stud on the wall. And then this, hi girls. This was an added piece that I put in to support the bottom half. And there's actually another, or this is actually the top of the egg box. There's another 2x3 that I laid on its side, and I put that in and then screwed it down to this board. And now that gave the bottom part of my frame. And then I did the same thing on this outside here. There's a piece of that. So you can kind of just imagine when you take that window out of there, it's got to be able to be screwed to this upright, and you need a top. Oh, pretty dusty up there, but you need a top to go across. So I added this piece at the frame, at the point where the frame could be screwed into it, and I added this piece down here for the frame to be screwed into. So goodness sakes, little one, do you really have to do all that? Yeah, sorry guys. She's just thinking. Anyhow, then you can actually see that I took some self-tapping screws instead of the nails that they use to put it in. You can do anything you want. Here, I'll get up here on one. You can do anything you want to screw these in. But I use some self-tapping screws that I just happen to have. And then I used the original holes that were on the frame, and I just screwed that into the framing area that I made for that window. So that's really all there was. I just added the pieces that I needed to on the outside just to make it look finished. So you can use scraps, or you can use whatever there is if it doesn't look right, just to finish that off. And then I painted those boards. So it really was pretty easy. Then for the predator screens, it's just a basic box, and just butt joints on the wood, and the size that I needed. I just measured out so that when I closed them, this bottom half would be a little bit lower than the actual window frame, and then this edge would clear these screws here, so that I wasn't bumping up against the screw. And I did the same thing on the back side. I just made sure I cleared that window itself, top and bottom. So you can kind of see I've cleared it, and I'm totally framing that in with the Predator box screen. And there's just a couple simple hinges on the back side. Nothing fancy. Any hinges will work. So see if I can zoom in. You can kind of see I just used some brass hinges that I had laying around to hinge those up. And then once I had them hinged up, I added the latch, and that's just a simple latch, but it works great. So we could latch her up. So really, that is all I did to get those windows framed in. The trickiest part was actually, I'm going to let these girls do their business. All right, go ahead, find a box. The trickiest thing was, you know, when you get it all in, just to make sure that you're filling, you know, this board is filled in here, here, and here. So you can use any pieces of leftover pallet scrap that you had from the shipment, or something that you have in your garage. It just has to be filled. And then I caulked it all. So I put any of these areas here. This is some caulking. Now this is our third summer on this, I think. for this coop. So it's been out in the elements, and it's showing a little bit of wear, but it's still holding up pretty good. So basically, that's kind of it. Pretty simple stuff. The hardest part, again, was just making sure that as you're removing these boards, there's no caulk or something on the side that has got it sticking there before you start trying to pry it off. Cut that caulk, or at least score it. You know, just get in there and get your blade under there and go super slow so you don't cut into your other colored board. And then once you can get those off, save them, put them back on. The amount of paint that they gave with the package was enough to paint the extra wood trim stuff. I did buy another gallon of exterior, white paint just in case I needed it, because I used it inside the coop also when I painted the walls internally. Again, just most of what I used was just this 2x3 boarding for the frame. It was just a simple butt joint. Screwed that together from up here and here, and then you had my other board face the bottom, and then I took the 1/4-inch welded wire and stapled that pretty aggressively all along the inside, because, you know, the screen that they give you with these windows is it's just a little plastic screen thing, and if you're going to keep the windows open, anything, and the heat we've been having, you're going to have these windows open. Any predator can push right through that. So that is one thing you absolutely have to do. You either have to close those windows at night, or you have to get something like this and go ahead and put it up and then just hinge it up to those and strap it up in the inside. I hope that this gives you enough information for you guys to give this a shot. People have commented about the weep holes of these windows. They're usually on the outside. You can see here where the chickens are dusty. If you don't know that, you should. This ledge comes to here, and then there's kind of a cutout on here on both sides. That's a weep hole. So when water hits the window, it sheds to the outside, and it's a little bit slanted, so that when water would have hit it, it would want to run to that side and run out. So I had a few people ask if I've had issues with that, but honestly, I have not. It does have the overhang on it. That helps. And it has been somewhat protected where it's sitting, and I haven't had much splash under there. So I guess I would have to say that it hasn't been a problem for me. A person, you know, I think you might get more water in your coop just by accidentally forgetting to close the windows, because we all do that, than you would from the little bit that might seep in there based on some rain splash. So I guess that's up to you. It's something to be aware of. You know, if you see an issue, you might have to come up with a little solution to kind of make that not happen. But I have to say, being able to come out here and just slide your two clips. I can't slide it and film at the same time. Maybe I can. Oh, that one's a little sticky. There we go. And just bring them up and down is pretty darn sporty. So I am super glad I did it. I haven't had any issues with it. And if you're interested in doing it and you're not sure how to, and I haven't given you enough information to get you by, then you can always email me at kathyandwhatsuptoday@gmail.com. Thank you. Bye.